Let It Be, 5 CD Deluxe Edition and 5 LP Vinyl Edition. I've got them both, they're both out today. It's always exciting on Beatles release day. I'm going to open both of these up and show you exactly what's inside them so that you know if you're thinking of getting these. I want to know in the comments what you're getting from the Let It Be releases. Let's have a chat about that. And just in case you don't already know, on Sunday night, that's the 17th of October at 9 PM UK time, I'm going to be doing a listening party on this YouTube channel where we're going to do the new Giles Martin 2021 remix and the 1969 Glyn Johns original mix of the album as a listening party. If it's after Sunday when you're watching this, it'll be available on Catch Up. So anyway, I'm going to open both these up. I'm going to start with the CD set and then I'll come on to the vinyl set in a little while. I'll put a chapter marker if you want to go straight to the vinyl section. Yes, I've already slotted open these so that we can get straight into them. They both look really, really nice. You can see I've still got the shrink wrap on here. Before I take the shrink wrap off, I'm going to show you the sticker there. I'm also going to show you how these sit on shelves so that you can see how they look alongside some of the other box sets that you've got. Depth, width, height, that kind of thing. So I will be showing you that once I've opened these up. So we've seen the sticker on there. I will now take the shrink wrap off and then we'll be able to get a better look at this box set. We've waited so long for this, haven't we? I mean, obviously it's been delayed a year by COVID, but just in general, how long have we been waiting for sort of extra Let It Be material? So you'll see there the front cover. That's really nice photos from the original album cover that you see there. And what's nice is that they're cut out, so this comes out like this, the contents. If I just take this out, you will see that you can have an alternate view if you wish. This is the folder that's got the actual discs in, so you can kind of have it looking how you want, really. So let's have a look at what's inside. There is the same leaflet that came with the Get Back book that I opened up earlier on this week. If you've not checked that out, please have a look at that video. But it's just advertising this particular set and advertising the Get Back book. I would thoroughly recommend that Get Back book. It is very, very well put together. So that's inside there. We've then got this book. This is the main book that comes with this. So real nice sort of clean looking book there. I'm not going to show you every page, but let's go through and see roughly what's in here. So you can see the Beatles, Get Back as it started out with a Let It Be sticker over the top of it. Not a sticker in the book, but it's made to look like a sticker. 4 nice alternate views there from the sessions of January 1969. So I will show you a good look at the contents of the book there so you can see what kind of things are in here. Get a good look at that. So we've got a foreword by Paul McCartney, which is a single pager. Him talking now about his thoughts about the album and remixing it for the current generation and for those of us who've been around a while as well. Nice picture of Paul there of the era in that shirt that he seemed to wear so often. We've then got a introduction by Giles Martin. Obviously Giles and Sam O'Kell have been responsible for the main remixing of the album, so you've got all of Giles' thoughts there. And then what I think's really nice is that we've got Glyn Johns Remembers, and this isn't just a one-pager, so he's talking obviously about how he was brought into the project in the first place, and his memories of the sessions. So that is not just a one-pager, but that goes on to a full second page as well. So that's good that Glyn Johns has been involved here. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Glyn Johns' involvement later on because there's a little bit of confusion here that I'm hoping we can get cleared up at some point. So it then goes into a section by John Harris, which is really just sort of documenting the story of the sessions. And that goes on for a little while with some great photographs and a lot of detail it goes into. And as I suspected, where the Get Back book is more kind of it's photographs, but it's transcripts of what the 4 Beatles were saying to each other during the sessions. This book is much more focused on the making of the album. You know, which takes did they use, what takes did they record on which days, and that kind of thing. So it goes into detail about each song. So you can see, for example, I've opened it up at 1 after 9:09 there. And then we've got Long and Winding Roads. It's got you know, tape information and all kinds of detail there. We've then, a little bit later on, if I can just get to the right section, we've got Kevin Howlett, who has done liner notes for all sorts of Beatles releases over the years. He's got a section where he's talking about the Twickenham sessions and the Apple sessions. So it's good to have him on board as well, because I noticed that he wasn't in the Get Back book that we got a few days ago. So it's good that it's probably because he's been focusing on this, perhaps. We've then got another section by Kevin Howlett, which is Get Back to Let It Be. So of course they were known as the Get Back sessions at first, and then eventually over the course of sort of over a year it became the Let It Be album. So he's telling the story a little bit here about, you know, how it went from being the Get Back to Let It Be. I did a series of videos about this last year where I went into sort of depth about each day's sessions in January '69, but also another video where it was talking about how it then came to be an album, you know, with Glyn Johns, what the various mixes that he did, and then with Phil Spector being brought in. So I'll put a link to that at the end if that's something you've not seen before. That might be of interest to you. So that carries on for several pages, which is good, and then we go into the credits at the end about what we've got in this new release. And then we've got the contents showing again of the discs there. So let's just talk a little bit about the contents of this particular box set. So this 5 CD and Blu-ray box set has the same contents effectively as the vinyl set. Obviously you don't get a high-res mix or anything with the vinyl set, but essentially the 5 discs here correspond to the 5 discs in the vinyl set. So disc 1 is the new mix of the original album. So this is what Giles Martin and Sam O'Kell have put together. I've only just got this, so I've not been able to listen to the CDs, but I have had a listen on Spotify, which is not amazing quality, but it's pretty good. My initial thoughts are that most of the album it's not revelatory in terms of a massive difference. Like, for example, I think there was a bigger difference with Sgt. Pepper and probably the White Album to its original mixes than there is here. But some of it is really nice. I thought, for example, Across the Universe, I can already tell you that this is my favourite version of Across the Universe now. It just sounds fantastic. Some of the orchestration, which is... there's a passage of orchestration, I think, in the second verse around the sort of 1:20 mark where I'd never really noticed it before and it sounded beautiful. I went back and listened to the original version on the original Let It Be album and it's there, but I couldn't pick it out as obviously as I could now, and it's really nice. So I think Across the Universe for me so far, just on initial listens, is the highlight of this particular remix. We've then got disc 2, which is Get Back and Apple Sessions. So there are several songs on here. That some of it's speech, some of it's sort of fragments of songs, some of it's more fuller versions of songs, but essentially what you get in there is kind of run-throughs and practices and early versions of mainly songs that you know, but there's one or two other bits and pieces on here as well. Fancy My Chances With You is just a sort of a little funny little bit that they do. It's interesting that there's Let It Be, Please Please Me / Let It Be. So they're about to play Let It Be, they play a little bit of it, and then Paul on piano just sort of starts going into not a comedy version as such, but hamming it up a little bit, some of the verse from Please Please Me in chorus, and then it goes into a proper take of Let It Be. So that's nice to have, to see that they were sort of flitting backwards and forwards between old and new. We've then got disc 3, which is Rehearsal and Apple Jam. So essentially it's kind of a similar thing to disc 2, but sort of more of the same, really. A lot of rehearsals there, and some interesting things on the track list. Give Me Some Truth, so obviously John Lennon's song that later appeared on Imagine. That was being worked on in January of 1969. And you've got a few things that eventually ended up on Abbey Road, like She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, Octopus's Garden, Polythene Pam, Oh Darling. So there's lots of good rehearsals there on disc 3. Disc 4 is one of the big selling points of the album. No doubt, it's the Glyn Johns mix of the album. So Glyn Johns, who was brought in at the start to make an album of what was being produced, He had several mixes that he attempted, some of which were more sort of serious attempts at building a proper album than others. But ultimately, they didn't use that. They went to Phil Spector, and of course, we got the album that we've known for 50-odd years. So what we've got here is, my understanding is that this is pretty close to one of the actual versions that Glyn Johns made in 1969, and he did another version in 1970. But it's a little bit of a hybrid of taking versions from different attempts that he made. What we get here, it isn't exactly what would have been released in 1969, but it's pretty damn close. And I've never owned a copy of that because I don't really get involved in bootlegs, as I've said previously. So a lot of this was kind of new to me. And so again, I listened to this on Spotify this morning. 1 after 9:09 was interesting, where it finished with the, I'd like to thank you all on behalf of ourselves and the group, and I hope we passed the audition. So it was weird hearing that at the end of 1 after 9:09. The medley, there's then a rock and roll medley. I'm Ready, Save the Last Dance for Me, and then it goes into Don't Let Me Down. I could have done without those rock and roll medley bits. For me, it's not Beatles album quality. But again, they were trying to create a different kind of an album at the time, so I can understand why it's there. But I think Phil Spector did right to lose all of that in the final version. So then we've got a proper version of Don't Let Me Down, and Teddy Boy's interesting to hear on here, a kind of a fuller version of it. It's always weird to me hearing the Beatles Teddy Boy rather than it being Paul McCartney solo, but that's good to have that on here. I'm still getting used to the Glyn Johns mix, so I'll have more I can say about it once I'm more familiar with it, but it's going to be one of the things that I'm going to cover in this listening party on Sunday night, so I certainly hope to know it a lot better by then. We've then got Disc 5, which is a little bit controversial because it's 4 songs on a disc. It's Across the Universe, which is a 1970 Glyn Johns mix, so we said that Glyn Johns was still involved in the project in early 1970 before Phil Spector was brought in, so he did a 1970 mix, that's on here. We've got a 1970 mix of I Me Mine, so I Me Mine wasn't recorded, as you'll probably know, until the beginning of January 1970, and there's his initial mix here. Phil Spector kind of expanded it a bit when he came on board for the final version. We've then got a new mix of the original single version for both Don't Let Me Down and Let It Be. So they're nice to have. I hope this doesn't mean that they're not planning on having these kind of things for a remix past masters when all the Beatles albums are potentially done in a few years' time. But again, it's nice to have those there. Let It Be sounds so clean. It's like it was recorded yesterday on here. So it is contentious that there's only 4 tracks on a disc, and there's a lot of people, for example, would have loved Disc 5 to have been the complete Rooftop concert. We don't know yet the reason why we haven't got the Rooftop concert. Now, it might be, I think it's going to be one of the following. Either, as Giles Martin has said in interviews, when they've been going through this, they found things that they felt worked a lot better visually with audio than just audio only. And it might be that the Rooftop concert is one of those, and they might have made a decision not to release it because of that. It's possible that when the Peter Jackson Get Back film gets its Blu Ray and DVD release, which hasn't been announced in any way at all, but come on, we know it's going to happen. There's no way they are not going to release those for you to buy. It might be that comes as a bonus selling point, because a lot of people will say, well, I've already seen it on Disney Plus, or I've got Disney Plus still, I don't need to go and buy it. But if it's got the full Rooftop concert on a CD as a bonus, that would be a massive selling point. So it might be that we get it a bit further down the line. It might be maybe a separate standalone release in future for Record Store Day or something like that. Or alternatively, we might not be getting it. We just don't know at the moment. So I'm not going to be particularly critical of the fact that there is no full Rooftop performance on here, because there might be a good reason for it that becomes clear in time. We don't know. So I'm probably more likely to have a rant in a year's time if we haven't got it than I am now. So that's the 5 main discs. We have then got disc 6, which is a Blu-ray high res of the main album. So let me just clarify for people who are interested in high res and different formats of the album. I'll see if I can get you a close up there. I hope you can read that. But we have got Blu-ray audio only. So it's got Dolby Atmos 48K 24-bit. It's got DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. And it's also got stereo remix in 96K 24-bit. So I'm looking forward to that. That's the one that I will definitely be spinning on my Blu-ray player that I've got back here. So that's the contents. I'm going to actually show you the contents now in this other package that's inside this box. So we get a wallet. Well, as we get with most sort of McCartney, Lennon, Beatles releases, you get a separate wallet that's actually got all the discs in. 4 nice photos there. This opens up. Nice picture of the Beatles there that we all know that picture well, but a black and white version this time. So it opens up like this. Should I show you each disc? Do you want to see each disc? Go on then. Right, okay, so disc 1. New mix of original album. So it is the album cover that we know. It's the back cover that we know. And the disc is a regular Apple. Okay. Disc 2, which is Get Back and Apple Sessions. Well, no, not and, but Get Back Apple Sessions. There's the front cover. Back cover looks similar to a kind of a white version of the main album cover. And the disc, it's that familiar style that we've seen quite a bit over the last few years with various Apple releases that gets used for demos and outtakes. I like that style of disc. That's nice. So that's disc 2. Disc 3 is Get Back Rehearsals and Apple Jams. So we have got, confusingly, we've got the same photos as on disc 2. I'm sure they could have found some different photos for that. And there's the disc in that style again. We've then got disc 4, which is the Glyn Johns mix. It's great to have this, and the vinyl. Oh, I'm looking forward to playing that. But there you go. Mocked up to look like the Beatles' Please Please Me, as is the back with Tony Barrow liner notes that he wrote at the time to sort of match what he'd done in 1963 for Please Please Me. You'll get a better view of that, I think, on the vinyl when I show you that. And that's Sliced Apple. Disc 5, Let It Be EP, the controversial one. So there you go. That's the front and the back. And it is a regular Apple there. And disc 6 is the Blu-ray. So it looks like the normal album cover, but with the Blu-ray sign at the bottom of it. And there's the back cover of that. And this one's on a red Apple. So that is a really, really nice set. I've got links down below if you've not ordered this yet, if you want to get your copy. But that, if I put the book inside it, is what your CD package looks like. Let's have a look at how this CD box set looks up there, along with various other box sets of similar kind that we've had over the last few years. So you can see that I've got the Get Back book there that came a few days ago. We've got the White Album 2018 set there. So I'm going to put this in alongside that, so that you can see, if I push them in as far as they'll go, you will see that this is kind of, the White Album one just sticks out a little bit more, but essentially it's the same depth as, certainly as these John Lennon books, and pretty much about the same height, just slightly shorter than the White Album. Let you have a proper look at that. Here's the vinyl. It weighs a ton and it is an absolute beauty. First of all, before I take the shrink wrap off, let's get you a look at that sticker. Hope you can see that. So that's Beatles Let It Be 5LP edition, new mixers by Giles Martin, Sam O'Kell, and then all the information about all the other discs on there. So let's get the shrink wrap off so it's not quite as glossy and we can see what we're dealing with a bit better. This is I've had a look through this already, and it is a lovely set. I think of the LP versions that we've had of Beatles albums so far for the remixes, this is the best presented one of the lot so far. And like I said, for the CD version, I'll also be showing you how this sits alongside the other vinyl releases that we've had in the series, so that you can see sort of how it looks on your shelf. So there you go, Let It Be, and we've got the 4 photos of the Beatles there. Again, it's a cutout because we can take it out like that. You'll see how that goes. And I will go through the various things that are in here. So this is the new remix of the album. So it's a nice sort of, I think it's quite a cleaned up version of the album cover. How does it compare to, oops, just destroying my display here. That's my that's like the recent remaster. It's very similar, to be honest, not much difference there. But essentially it's the same back cover that you know, apart from it's got 2021 credits on there. We've got a nice poly-lined inner sleeve, which is good. I always like the poly-lined, they come out a lot better. You don't have to battle with any static. So there is your main disc, the main apple, and on side 2 we've got the cut sliced apple. So I did talk about my initial thoughts of the remix while we were looking at the CD version. You may or may not have seen that, or you might have skipped to this. Essentially what I said, it's not revelatory, it's very nice, it's very clean and sounds lovely. Across the Universe is the highlight for me so far, without a doubt, of the new remixes. Just sounds beautiful. But I haven't heard the vinyl yet. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be doing that tonight. We've then got, this is discs 2 and 3 in here. So this is Apple Sessions, Rehearsals and Apple Jams from Get Back. And it says the same on the spine there. Hopefully you can see that. There's the rear cover. This is a gatefold. So let's open that up. We've got some nice photographs there. This is nice and glossy as well as this. So let's just have a look at discs 2 and 3. So this is side 1, again using that style of Apple that we've seen used quite a lot over the last few years for demos and rehearsals. Not just on Beatles releases, but we've seen it on, I think we've seen it on George Harrison and the John Lennon releases as well. So that's disc 2. Disc 3 I think is essentially the same, but again it's all polylined sleeves, which is great, because I've certainly had my share of these kinds of releases over the last few years where they're in shiny plastic sleeves and you've got to battle for 10 minutes just to get the album out of the sleeve. Absolute pain. So that's really nice. That's discs 2 and 3. This is the one. I was just, when I opened this up before, and the fact that I own this now after all these years, very excited about this one. Get Back, the Beatles. Get Back with Don't Let Me Down and 12 other songs. So this is the album that we could have had all those years ago, or essentially, again, as I said when I was going through the CD box set, it's a bit of a hybrid, is this, of some of the versions that Glyn Johns put together. So this isn't exactly as one of the versions that he was hoping for release, but it's kind of a bit of a mixture of things. So we've got the track list in there. And what I really like here is Tony Barrow has done the sleeve notes, and he's done it very much in the style of Please Please Me, including some of the original passages from his Please Please Me liner notes. So that's really nice to have. Now, there is a bit of confusion here that I don't know the answer to yet. I'm trying to find out the answer to. Some of you might have heard more. And I'll tell you about that in a second. But first of all, let me show you the disc. So we've got regular black apple, regular green apple there, and sliced white apple on the other side. Very nice. So Giles Martin did an interview just recently where he said, and with no reason really to doubt him, he said that this is not a remix that's been, obviously the other stuff has been remixed for this year. This has been remastered from what was put together at the time. And Giles Martin said that Glyn Johns himself did the remastering, which sounds great to me, but there is no mention of that anywhere. in either the CD box set or the vinyl box set. It's just not mentioned. Glyn Johns is obviously thanked because he's contributed notes in the book to the album, but it doesn't mention anywhere that he remastered this for this release. So I can only assume he did because Giles Martin said so, but why not publicise it in the box set? I don't understand that. But anyway, that is one of the highlights for me. Really, really pleased to have that. We've then got the controversial 4-disc. What's it being called? It's been called. Where is it? The Let It Be EP. Sorry. We've got another one of those in here, so I've got 3 of those now. Probably have to put one up on my wall, I think. This is the 4-track Apple EP, and this plays at 45 RPM. So be aware of that when you're putting that one on your turntable. Comes out of that, and again, it's in a polylined sleeve. So we've got 2 songs on side 1, which is the Across the Universe unreleased 1970 Glyn Johns mix, and I'm in Mine, again the unreleased 1970 Glyn Johns mix. And on the second side, it is Don't Let Me Down and Let It Be, the new remixes of the single versions of those 2 songs. So I'm sure that will be very nice, and again, as I was talking about when I was reviewing the CD, a lot of people would have liked it to have been something else on that 5th disc, namely the rooftop concert, but as I said earlier, there may well be reasons why we haven't got the rooftop concert here, and I think let's judge that in a year or so. The last thing that's in here, in this lovely box, is this book. So we saw the book that was in the CD set. This, as far as I can tell from having looked at both of them, I believe this is identical. Obviously it's a different shape because this is LP shaped and that was more rectangular shaped inside the CD, but they're both the same number of pages. They appear to have the same contents on. So if you saw me go through the contents of the book for the CD, then really it's just exactly the same here. So I'm not going to go through everything again here, but suffice to say, you can see that it's the same kind of stuff, and it is a lovely book. Very, very nice. So it's good that finally we seem to be in an era where you can get a vinyl package that matches the CD package, because mainly over the last few years it's tended to be the CD packages have had either more discs, more contents, or a better book or whatever. There seems to be a levelling of the playing field now, which I think is good, because I know a lot of people who've been disappointed that they couldn't buy just the vinyl set and get everything. Whereas you can now. So that's really nice. It's a really quality package, is that. I'm really going to enjoy spending some time with that. So, as I say, let me know your comments about what you think about this. I'm going to be back with reviews soon. I've got that listening party on Sunday night, which I hope you can join me for. We're all going to play the album in whatever format we've got it, whether it's CD, vinyl, streaming or whatever. And I will be kind of hosting it, and we'll all be just sort of having a chat about the albums as we listen to them, so please join me for that if you can. Right, let's have a look at how this vinyl box sits in with other vinyl packages, just so you can get an idea for your storage. So I'm going to come down to where I've got my other sort of Beatles vinyl shaped box sets down here, and the big question is going to be, am I going to file this before Abbey Road or after? This is where, whatever way I do it, some people aren't going to like it, but the way that I always do it, Let It Be, it goes before Abbey Road as far as I'm concerned. You can see that it's thicker, definitely, than the other LP box sets that we've had. The Sgt. Pepper one, that's the CD box sets, it's not kind of like for like, but it's a thick package, and in terms of depth, it's standard vinyl depth, so if you've got shelves that'll fit vinyl in, that will go in there nicely as well. So there you go. I hope you're enjoying yours as much as I'm going to enjoy mine. I'll see you again very soon. Goodbye.